Hey game makers, how's it going? Nelderson here, coming to you live, ready to get, dialed in. Let's dive right in and get things going. The whole point of this stream is once again to, maintain, go over, build new features, everything to do with the RPG Maker MV Online system. Okay. First things first, let's get this out of the way. Let's make sure people can actually hear me. This is very important. Just my one lonely person out there, tell me that you can hear me in the chat, because that would really be helpful. And then once I can verify that, we'll move on to actual stuff. Cool. All right. All right. Well, at least the audio sounds great. Everything else can suck. If the audio sounds great, I'm fine. All right. With that said, I'm just making sure things are coming through relatively decent. Okay, good. All right. So, MV Online system. Today's going to be a little bit more freeform. We're going to kind of, figure out how we want this to flow. I'm going to keep everything really open. Make suggestions in the comments. I'm going to kind of go through old issues, because I really haven't done it in a while. I've been terrible. So we're going to go over that. I'll briefly go over what I've been doing and what I've been thinking and kind of my process and how I do updates and what I want to do in the short term versus long term and that kind of thing. Awesome. All right, so with that, let's go through some of these issues, all right? Let's see what we got here. This is always the fun part, because people tend to put their wants in there more than what the system actually needs. And it's actually kind of nice to be able to openly talk about this kind of stuff, because I don't want it to be like, oh, he just doesn't like what I talk about. And I'm like looking down on you. It has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with, you'll see some of these, people want things that just aren't feasible within a given amount of time. So let's dive into it. Is it possible to? Oh, it's a good start. Is it possible? MLab is only 0.5 gigabytes for the starter. I would like to ask that if there is possible to change MLab to MySQL database. So a few things about this. MLab is just a cloud-based. All right. MLab is just a cloud-based provider of Mongo. You can actually install Mongo locally on your machine and have a development environment. Really what MLab is good for is like if you have production level, you need multiple replica sets and everything else. MLab actually has a lot of the replica set kind of stuff built in, as opposed to MySQL where you have to migrate and do different things like that. But no, if you definitely want to put it on your own computer, you can download Mongo to Windows or Mac and have gigabytes upon gigabytes if you really want to. So I don't really see a need to change out to MySQL. Just for that particular reason. So I will write something really quick here, like you can install Mongo locally and get plenty of extra space. And I'll even put a smiley face in there, because yes. All right, next issue. I already feel accomplished. I already feel accomplished out there. All right. All right. How to change admin's name and color in the chat. All right. Let's, how to change admin's name, color in chat box. And if someone had a rank, example admin, how can I change the color of their name in chat box? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure we already have something built in for this. Hold on. I gotta check this real quick. So, really quick, let me see. I got my project here. I got Project 6, which is my my game folder, and then I have the MV Online system, which is the game resource and server. It's my GitHub project. So if I come into server, I believe under login schema is where the accounts are. And would you look at that? Username, email, rank. Yeah, I have a rank tied to accounts. So you could go into your MLab or wherever you have your Mongo database. Excuse me a sec. Wherever you have your Mongo database, and just change their rank to, you know, a player, a moderator, or an admin. And then what we just have to do is, on the flip side, check, actually, is it already included in the token? Give me a second on this. This might already be like 100% easy to do. So we can put this on this, on the side here. Where am I looking at? Login routes. Let's look for JWT. JWT sign profile. Where is profile? Profile is right up here, and yes, it gives you the name, ID, and rank. So what's going on here, just so everyone's kind of on the same page, this profile object is being signed down here into a token, and that token I pass to everyone. Not to everyone, it's passed to you on every HTTP request and every socket request. So you constantly know who you are wherever you are, whether you're in the back end or the front end. So technically on the front end plugin, you could have a rank, you could check the rank in the front end. I know that's a little convoluted and weird, but the long story short is we already have the JavaScript web token, and then I believe on the online main core, we have a decode JWT. Yeah, a decode JavaScript web token, which then can get you the rank, and then you can, I mean, you'd have to do a little bit of coding within the online chat system itself to, you know, check for rank and then change the color based off rank, but totally 100% possible. What would I put this in the category of? I would put this in the category of feature request, but I would put it as a lower feature request. So here, let's make a note. So, you know, feature requests, lower priority, until I find a better name for it. So this would be admins having different colored chat names and or text displays, something like that. Yeah, I mean that seems reasonable. This actually seems very likely. So this is totally doable. I don't have a specific timetable. But maybe I'll get to it. But I'll hopefully get to it soon. All right, so this, do we have labels? Enhancement. I like that one. Okay, so enhancement. All right. So that way we can put it as an enhancement. And the way that I'm thinking about this as well is if anybody wants to take some of these smaller ones on, you know, they're really passionate about it, that kind of thing, maybe we can do some sort of like bounty system or something along those lines. I don't know. We can think about it. Right now, let's just get it all out there, and then if people want to help out, they can help out when the time comes. I'm just making sure you guys can still hear me. Everything's still good out there? Okay. All right, so we got that. Back to issues. Change of net player actor. Not an issue, more of a query. Is it possible to change the sprite being used for the network players? My game has a single protagonist but plays on a time travel theme, so having other players with limited interaction beyond chat actually works really well. But it would be nice to be able to show them a different sprite, or at least a ghostly version of the player one to show they're from an alternate timeline. On a side note, love your work. Thanks. Took a bit to set up on my side, but it's amazing. Well, you know, it is a bit to set up and to maintain, so I will admit that. You know, even someone who wrote it, it's still very tough to set up and maintain. It's something I'm working on to try and make it at least a little bit easier. But there are some things that I can't make easier. With that said, changing the sprite for network players. So the way network players works is you're sending, whenever you're sending who you are, you're also sending over your sprite, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let me see if I can find this. So it'd be online network players. And we want to, this is change room networks XY, and we are sending character name and character index. So character name and character index is the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the sprite sheet reference of what sprite you're using. So if you have two games, they both have to have that sprite sheet in their file. Okay, so this is one of the big problems with like something like a big feature request, which actually I should probably write down. So this would be a higher priority feature request, because I'm making it. So higher priority feature request, and I'll put a question mark just to keep things even. Would be integrating some random dudes. Oh, what is it called? Random generator character creation. Okay, so integrating character creation into online. Integrating character creation. So the biggest problem with this, going back to the code, you know, everyone has to have the same character name and the character index. So they have to have the sprite sheet. Long story short, you have to have the sprite sheet on both game systems in order for this to work. Okay? And the problem that you have with something like a character creation is that you have a bunch of base sprite sets and you're layering them on top of each other and then making a new sprite set. So, or a sprite sheet or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call them sprite sets. If you name them consistently though, and put them to like a cloud sharing service, it is possible that you can point everyone to like a CDN or a cloud sharing or something along those lines and technically get it to work. It's a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a level of trying to get that to where it works efficiently and it's fast and everyone can just load everything, because I mean you could potentially have megabytes upon megabytes of images that are tied into sprite sheets. However, now that I'm remembering this question a little bit better, he's looking, it's nice to be able to show them a different sprite or at least a ghostly version of the players. The ghostly is interesting because ghostly, you can get away with like fiddling with opacity, fiddling with like alpha and that kind of thing, which is all built into the way bitmaps work currently. All right, so for this, I would say I'd stick to ghostly by making network players transparent and changing alpha on sprites / bitmaps, or I don't know which it is, but I'm not the most technical when it comes to everything RPG Maker and exactly what it is. I just know it's one of those, something in HTML5, Canvas, Pixie, somewhere along the line, you should be able to mess with the alpha, the transparency, to make like a ghostly effect, is what I'm going with. Network players transparent, changing alpha, sprites, bitmaps. Changing sprites to a sprite sheet that doesn't exist. Beyond the scope of this issue. Yeah. We'll go with that. All right. I am not going to keep it open because I'm not going to particularly do this. Once again, if anyone else wants to bounty this, by all means. Posted on the forums. It seems like a pretty straightforward thing somebody could help out. It doesn't seem that difficult. I normally don't tell people to go to the forums if it's something really complex, but something simple like that, I know there's plenty of people out there who know exactly what to do in one line. So I'm not gonna worry about that. There's plenty of people out there who do help. All right. What happens when you save? Okay, I know this is not a dev question, but just wondering. Since I will be using Character Creator, EX by some random dude, which, yes, now that I know the name of this, let's put it in our notes. Okay. I don't know if anyone else, let me know if anyone else has a Character Creator out there. I don't know of any others, but I haven't been in the game in a while, so let me know if my my compass is off on that, all right? Anyway, back to the question. Okay, I know this is not a dev question, but just wondering, what happens when you save in a project with this? Will it save online? Will it save in your hard drive, or will it do nothing? What? I'm a little confused. I don't think one pertains to the other. So that's why I'm kind of looking at this. Honestly, my system, you don't have to use the online save system, so kind of confused. Let's take this a little bit deeper. What happens when you save in a project with this? Will it save online? Here, hold on. Character creation, a whole separate issue. It's a whole separate feature that needs to be integrated to work. And for the reasons I just justified, where because you have different sprite sheets on different computers, you need to kind of, you know, when you create a character, it creates a new sprite sheet, and you need to be able to put them in a centralized space so that when you join a server, they can point to that sprite sheet. Anyway, character creation, a separate feature that needs to be integrated to work. Save can work as normal or on cloud. Shouldn't matter. I don't know if I'm understanding it completely, but we're gonna close because it's not really an issue anyway. All right. Online chat plugin, have a problem when another player is opening the menu and someone is chatting, the game will crash on the person who is opening the menu. This was done back in July, and I'm pretty sure I fixed this. This is gonna have to be, I don't know if we're gonna have time to, you want to, we'll come back to this one because this is one that we might actually have to like really dig into. I want to get some of these other little ones out of the way, and then if we have to, you know, dive into a couple of these bigger ones, we'll you know, test them out and see if they work. All right, next, how to change HTTP to HTTPS. This is 100% on my features that absolutely need to be done. HTTPS, for those who are not familiar, is secured HTTPS. Very important. Imperative for secure streaming of information. And can you guys still hear me out there? Oh boy. Give me a yelp if you can still hear me. Things are starting to slow down on my end. All right, you can still hear me. We're still good. All right, fair enough. All right, let me know if it drops. Okay. With that said, so HTTPS is secured. it's just it's an encrypted HTTP. So things, you know, all your data is encrypted as it's going back and forth. Okay. I have it set up for HTTP only right now. There's a couple different ways to do HTTPS. One is to do it directly through Express, and it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter what hosting service you give it to. And then there's also the other way of doing it, which is like push it to like something like Heroku, which automatically just upgrades it to HTTPS because they have their own certificates and stuff. I am going to focus on the manual method because people have a lot of different ways that they like to give it up, host their server. But I also want to do something simple for the baseline community because Heroku does have a nice little, for development, they have a nice free dyno, they call it, where you can get, you know, it's not, you can't run it 24/7. It turns off after 15 minutes of inactivity, but it's really nice for development. It's free. And it's one of those things where the AWS is nice if you have the year of free of AWS, but then after that, AWS gets expensive pretty quick. So Heroku is a nice little dev tool that I think everyone, I'm going to start doing videos on Heroku. Because I tried to do it originally when I first came out with this system, and Heroku and Socket.io did not play nice. But I recently came back to Heroku not too long ago, a couple months ago, and I was able to get Socket.io up and running pretty quickly. So, you know, I don't know if that's just because I got skills, I leveled up a little bit, or if it's because Heroku's gotten a little bit better. I'm pretty sure it's because Heroku's gotten a little bit better. So we'll see on that. But that's my goal with HTTPS. This is 100% an issue. This is a feature. This needs to be done. This is not an excuse. Security is everything. So enhancement. Perfect. All right. Add real-time to server. Add real-time multiplayer functionality to RPG Maker MV, allowing for MMO-like experience. What? Real-time multiplayer using Socket.io. Check. Battles are handled in the same scene map, not on a separate battling screen. Not my job to make a real-time battle system. Registration and login. And once again, this is not to be mean. This is just, I have to be honest with some of this stuff. Registration and login from remote database. Already done. On-screen health. That is 100% other people can make that. And more, to be honest. Okay. Okay. That is already here. And the rest. With the exception of the ABS. For that, I'm not doing that. Maybe in the future we can think about doing that, but for right now, no. Just no. 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 All right, next on the list. Hi, Nelderson. Cool. Hello. I'm waiting for you to come back and bring more new things to the online project. Back. There we go. That's how we handle that. All right. Online network players. Don't working. Okay. Hello, I apologize for my bad English. Well, you want to know what? He apologized for his bad English. We'll go with it. Okay. I'm writing through Google. I have a problem. It's a server on AWS with another computer. I go into the game with another account, and we do not see each other. I will attach my photos. Oh, goodness gracious. Screen manager, and I don't know. I mean, there could be a billion reasons why this isn't working. The first thing I would do is honestly try locally. Before you put it on AWS, make sure it works locally. Make sure you can connect to multiple browsers. Make sure you can connect to yourself. Because honestly, AWS works the exact same way. The only difference with AWS is it gets a little bit more complicated with things like, you got to make sure the right ports are open. The security is a little bit more brutal, and you got to make sure, you know, you actually remote into it correctly and you have everything updated correctly and it's running correctly. And then, you know, when you have it locally on your computer, you can kind of test it a little bit more. I mean, I get where you're coming from on this, and it could be one of the billion other plugins that he has on here that could be messing with it. And screen plugin mapped into IDI in general, a lot of things I tried. I know for a fact it works. It does work on AWS. I have tutorials to prove it. How to figure out if you can run it locally. Figure out how to run it locally. How to test it locally. And see if you're having the same issues. I'm gonna close this one because yeah. This was also done in May. So yeah. He'll come back to me if it's a problem. All right, issues. Self-signed certificate in chain. This. Never, ever, 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 ever post this shit. The salt in the hash can be used to actually crack your password. Granted, I will say this. It is a lot harder to do it with a salt and a hash than it is to do it with just a hash. But never, folks, never post to my GitHub page with this. Ever. You still hear me out there, Leva? All right. What do we got here? Post register. Apparently the account isn't activated yet, but I never get an activation email. By the way, I tried registering a Gmail account. Use Gmail as mail from. Already allowed unsave apps and unblock CAPTCHA. This is what the console shows after trying to register. Okay, here's the thing. Okay. Okay. I get where you're coming from here, because activated is false. Okay, so the way that it works, just so we're all clear on this, okay, when you sign up for an account, it creates your username, your password, you know, your email, your password, your salt and your hash, your ID, kind of puts this all in, and where's I going with this? It gives you an activation code. The activation code is then used to generate a URL that actually activates your account. Your account has to be activated in order for you to actually use it. The whole point of this is so that you're only using valid email addresses. And the only way to validate an email address is to send them an email and have them reply to it in some way, shape, or form, which is what we're doing here essentially. Okay? You can come in here and easily hit activated to true. You can just activate all that come through. The mail to, on the other hand, I've gone over it in length. Google changes how they do this from time to time. I've had to mess around with my settings as well, just to keep my mail settings working with Gmail. But I would look at, I guess we could put this on the lesser priority list. You know, I use Node Mailer, but maybe thinking about changing Node Mail. Is it Node Mailer that we use? What do we use? It's something like that. Hold on. What is the plugin that we use? It is under Not network players. What do we got here? Account login routes. What do we got? Node mailer. Yeah. Yeah, so we use node mailer. So if we can get a little bit away from node mailer, I think it's not the worst thing in the world if there's something better that works for Google. I just use node mailer because you could use a whole plethora of different things, and it's just a really straightforward, simple thing to use. It is not fun to use with Gmail, I wholeheartedly agree, but I've gotten it to work with my Gmail a few times. It takes a little bit of Googling. I also have a thing on how to do it on my page, but I mean, it's something I've gone over, and I'm not going to, once again, not to be mean, I'm not going to go over how to do this how to get it set up for you individually, if that makes sense. It comes with the territory of knowing how to do things. There are some things that I can support, and there's some things I can't support. Getting your email sent out like this, I can't support. However, what I could do, think about changing node mailer, and I also could think about add setting to auto enable. Or what do I call it? Not enable, auto activate. Auto activate users. So that way they don't have to go through the email process, so that way you're not worried about it. And just make usernames and passwords. I mean, it really isn't going to kill you. You know, and you can go in and manually disable people if somebody's spamming you like crazy. You know, but that's the reality, though, is that, like, eventually you will need to get this up and running because you will have a spammer or something like that. But by that point, hopefully you'll have your own mail. If you're worried about spammers, you should be at the point where you're above Gmail and you have your own mail server or of some sort. But that's for another time. Okay. So for this, but Google constantly changes. Around for this. It would be much more accurate with the how-tos. Okay. All right, next on the list, global event method. Hi, Nelderson. Did you think to make a global event method? X and Y coordinates in the server, to and from events? I already did. It's called network player. Well, okay, all right, hold on. That's not true. Global event method. Hold on, I gotta think about this. So what do we mean by global event method? Because what I'm thinking is, you know, you make an event on one, you know, client, and then you push it to everyone else's client. Which could work. But I think what you're talking about here is, what if you made like a server-based event? I like it. I actually like it. I think that's something we could do. So like, you create an event on the server, and then you push it to all the clients that are connected to it. I think that's actually really doable. Hold on a second. Let me look at a couple things here. So how are events stored? And let's close everything. Let's close everything out. Let's close out a few of these things so that way we can kind of see what the hell's going on here. I have so many things open. I'm a mess. We can close that. We can keep that open, and we'll probably use that again. Okay, so let's close this. Let's go into project 6, which is just my default, once again, RPG Maker project. Let's say, not JS, it would be data. And if I'm an event, I am probably inside of a map. And there we go. You got events right here. And events are just giant JSON objects. Look at that. That's pretty fucking cool. All right. All right. I mean, if all events are just a giant JSON, I mean, Hold on, let me think about this. Let me think about this. Now I gotta think. All right, so here's the thing that I'm thinking of. Let's say you're a... So let's say you have a server event that goes off. Now, this would be a very inefficient way of doing it, but let's just say you have a server event that creates an event on every person's map that is a parallel event that just, you know, puts an image on the top of the screen saying, you know, the next Coliseum match starts in 5 minutes, or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, you know, you're all awesome or something like that. You want to tell every person who's playing your game at that moment, you're all awesome. Okay? You know, I mean, for that, I would probably just make a complete separate banner thing, but let's just say you wanted to push an event. Yeah. I mean, this is all that's needed to make an event. What you would have to do, though, is you'd have to have like a... You either have to do like an event generator. So what I'm thinking is you would have to have the event already on the map, and then you're like overtaking the event with like whatever you have on your server as the event data. Or what we could do is do like an event creator where we have the data and we're pumping it into the event creation plugin, which would probably be a little bit more succinct. Because when you're taking over an event, you can only have one event at a time, whereas an event generator, you can generate a bunch of events and do a bunch of different things all at the same time. I mean, it wouldn't be the same on... The only issue you would have is it wouldn't be the same on everybody's screen, but you could push it to everyone all at once. And I think what the original thing is here, do you think you can make global event method X and Y coordinates on the server for the events? Yeah. You can do X and Y coordinates. The problem with X and Y coordinates is that it has to be tied to a specific map. So I think we're talking about two different things here. I'm talking about global events for every single player. We're talking about global events per map. Actually, per map would work as well. Depending on what map you're on. Yeah, because we could separate things into rooms, and then based off which room you are, you can have your rooms based off of maps. And if you have your rooms based off of maps, you can have your, you know, event structure based off maps. And you can have it, yeah, you can have global events based off map. Okay, I'm down with that. All right. Let's put it in the lower priority. No, you want to, let's make a middle priority. Let's do it. All right, we're done with question marks. These are official. Time to put colons. Ooh, yeah. Oh, God. What the hell am I doing here? Global events. Per map. All right. You want to what? You, my good sir, are getting an enhancement tag. All right. Leva, can you still hear me, brother? All right. Moderate priority. Moderate priority. Moderate priority. Done. All right. So, let us... All right, so that got the enhancement. Perfect. All right. Bug report. Register bug. It's a screenshot I took of a bug. Let's see if it's even active still. Damn it. I could hope. The magic of... Alright, so this is pretty straightforward, actually. So, reference IO is not defined at main core 72. So, I can tell you exactly what this is and why it's happening. And to show that, let's pull out the online core. Online main core. Okay, and it was what, 72? which is right there, io.connect. So this IO object, all right, is pulled in under, here, let me just put this here. This IO object right here is pulled in under the index.html setting, and it is pulled in under socket.io right there. The problem is, this, I have a local library folder. However, on my GitHub, which I need to change, let me just open a new tab, just to show this, MB Online. Let's say, where am I? I'm somewhere. Game resources, sample index. So in the sample index, we changed this a little while ago where the source is actually looking for localhost socket.io, socket.io.js. So when you host a socket.io server, you can point them to your socket.io server and get a copy of the client.js file. I remember there was a reason why I was against this. So originally I had it where I gave a library folder to it. The problem with it is we were all using a little bit different versions of socket.io, so it was causing issues. So we put it back. Long story short, now I know how to lock in the version of socket.io. So the next major update, which is very soon, the next major update that I do, I'm going to lock in the version of socket.io, and I'm also going to put in the into the library folder, just so you know what I'm talking about, games resources, JS, libs or libs or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm going to put in the direct link to socket.io, so that way it doesn't require an internet connection to get this io.connect to work. Which is why this person is seeing this error. So IO is not defined, meaning it literally is not defined because their reference in the index.html is wrong in some way, shape, or form. So, long story short, and make sure it's correct. Close. All right. Next. Warning messages. All right. This is a while ago too. I noticed I installed. All right. This is a little bit of a text. All right. I installed a few other plugins besides yours for testing. When I register a new account, server display this warning message. Mongoose and promise. Nope. This is 100%. Yep. Another warning message. Yep. All right, these warning messages have already been worked on. I got to these a while ago, and I'm pretty sure I updated them already. This shouldn't be happening for anybody, and if it is, let me know. Actually, we should probably test just the baseline. And yeah, we'll put that on the list of things to do. These depreciation warnings should be gone. And close. All right. Feels good. Feels good. All right. Well, we're already putting this to this. All right, yeah, this is the same as this. So what we can do, I don't want to do Cloudflare. I mean, well, it shouldn't matter. All right. Which one do we want to close? I like this one. This has a little bit more information, so we'll close the other one. So label enhancement, and I will close out the other one. So this is 73. So the way that we can do this, we can say duplicate of issue. Spelling issue correct helps. Number 73. There we go. And we're gonna say no. No. Duplicate. We can keep an enhancement. And we can say closing comment. All right, and now whenever somebody comes into here for some, you know, they get in a search or something, duplicate issue of number 73, they click on number 73, and it brings them right over to here. So it's a nice way to link things in GitHub if you did not know that with GitHub issues. Next on the list, connected or disconnected. Hi, friend. Well, hello, friend. If possible, all right, if possible, do a plugin, show and screen, connected or disconnected. It's cool for application. Thanks. All right. I mean, I can understand that. Yeah. All right. Put it on the lower priority list, but for this could even be actually easier. Connected, disconnected. I would put it as status. Okay, so connected, disconnected status. And I think this is something we can pretty much do in like 2 seconds. Hold on. Let me see this. So here we got login route. No, not login routes. We want to go on online main core because you want to see it on the client side. So I think the best way to do it right here. So on the socket connect, socket on connect, but there's default socket stuff. Hold on. So let's go to socket.io. And once again, I'm just gonna show this. I might not actually build it right this second. Where are we? Where am I here? Documentation. Resources. Where are we? Documentation. There we go. Wow, they changed a few things. Rooms and namespaces. No. I want to see these. Overview. Installing. Where are you? Using with Express. Sending and receiving events. Connection. There's so they have this socket on disconnect and socket on connection, but they also have like a reconnect. Disconnect connection. Yeah, hold on. Socket IO reconnect event. I think it's reconnect. Yeah. Hold on. All right, so we have reconnection attempts, reconnection delay max. So reconnection. No, this is the manager. Yeah, here we go. This is what I want. So we got reconnection attempt, reconnecting, reconnect error, reconnect failed, ping, pong. These are all events that are, so the socket on event is reserved for this particular purpose. So we could do things like, you know, connected, disconnected, reconnecting. So we'd even put reconnecting on that. Be pretty cool. And then, you know, we would just put the status, and then, I mean, you can add whatever you want. You could technically put it to a parallel event and just listen to that variable or whatever and just have it on the screen constantly. So that would be the way to do it, and the best way to do it would be something like this. So if we just, you know, copy something like this, and we could put it like right in. Oh yeah, we even have socket disconnect. All right, so we could even do socket.on. Oh, on reconnect. You know, and then do a function and. You know, we could do like set variable or something like that. So, you know, game variables, I think it's set value. Set value or something like that. And then it's like, you know, variable 1 to, you know, and then you can put whatever you want here. You can put reconnecting or something. And then I get the job done. I want to say it's game variable set value. I don't know. It's, once again, it's been a while since I've done this. Hold on. Let's see. See how good. Let's see how good I've been. All right. Game variables. It's not manager. It's core. No, objects. Game variables. Dot set value. Ah, still got it. Variable ID and value. Perfect. Cool. And then once again, you can just set the variable to what you want. Do it from there. We can even make it so that, you know, we can make this into a separate plugin, or we could just put it in the main core where it's like, you know, reconnection status or something like that, and we could set it to a particular variable, and that way it's always set to a variable. So like, once again, so we can set, you want to, let's build it right now. Fuck it, why not? Should take 2 seconds. All right, so game variable reconnecting. Here, let's just do this. And even let's do disconnected. All right, and then let's take this and let's put this right connected. Still hear me out there, bro? One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. 2 can be as bad as 1. Whatever works. All right. So with that, let's get this completed. What are we doing here? We're doing something. Connected, disconnected. So now that we have all of this ready, all we need to do is set a new param. So we should be able to just do this or this. And we don't want to call it server URL. We want to call it socket status variable. All right, and then we'll say default 1. And we want to give it a description of sets status of socket to variable. And you want to what? Let's make it even easier. Let's say 0 is disconnected, because it might be easier to do this with numbers, especially in RPG Maker. That way you're not having to check if it's equal to a string or anything like that. So let's do it like this. Variable 0 is disconnected. 1 is, or set the status of socket IO to variable. And we want to say this 1 is equal to connected, and 2 is reconnecting. That way we're not looking for strings, because I know with RPG Maker, once again, it has been a while. So let me start up Steam here, because once again I don't have RPG Maker open, which would be easy. It would be easy. My goodness. All right, Project 6, good old Project 6. All right, so if I come in here and I set the variable or conditional branch, I want to say variable is equal to whatever. Yeah, this is so much easier than if you had to come over here, script, and make sure it's equal to something and that kind of stuff. So variable is equal to constant. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. Let's do that. It makes life easier. So 0 is disconnected, 1 is connected, 2 is reconnecting. So it's as simple as, okay, Okay, so we want to set this to... shit. I already forget what I wanted. I want to set this to 1. I want to set this to 0. And I want to set this to 2. Yeah. Alright, and then this is going to be plugins filter, so this... so it's going to be... No, I don't want to put that out here. I gotta be careful where I put things really quick. Just give me a second. Let's do... we don't want a string. We want a number. No. We want a string. We want a string. No. We don't want a string. Alright, hold on. I'm confusing myself. It's been a while since I've had to do this. Instead of server URL, we want to do socket status variable. We take that sucker. We put this in somewhere. Not there. Not there. We put it over here. Perfect. And we want this to be a number. Number. Alright, we'll take this. Put that there, and we'll put that there. Not the best way to look at it, but yeah, I can clean it up after the fact. Okay, so let's just verify this all works. Oh, once again, it has been a while since I played around with this kind of stuff. What did I do? I did it in main core. Status variable, let's just turn it to 10. Cool. I'm pretty sure I didn't put variable 10 to anything. Let's just check that real quick. Control variables. Of course, I have everything off screen so you can't see it. Oh. Okay. Alright, just break on me. No, that's cool. That's cool. It's fair. It's fair. Thanks. No, just shut down on me. No, that's cool. Control variable 10. I have a Pokemon variable. It's pretty cool. I didn't know I had a Pokemon variable. Alright, so let's just call this server status. Status. Apply. Cancel. Cancel. Because now when I go back in, once again, been a while since I've done this, so this is my OCD kicking in, making sure that server status is there, and it is. Cool. Okay. Whoa. Alright, apparently my screen does not like... Alright, we gotta be careful of what we move around here. Alright, with that... Alright, let me close out a couple things. Maybe it's because I have all this live stream stuff running. I don't want to mess too many things up. Oh yeah, by the way, Leva, you know, I was once a novice too, man. You know, I came a long way, and it was actually, I actually started learning how to program from a guy in the RPG Maker community called Gooby D. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or anything. He used to make this awesome tactical battle system for VX Ace, and it really got me into like programming and just looking at things mathematically. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So you may be a novice to server coding, but just let it soak in. It'll be fine. And that goes for everyone else out there as well. All right, Snow Fortress. What are we doing here? All right, so we have our server status on event 10. Okay, so let's make a parallel. Oh God, it has been so long since I've done this. Let's make a parallel event. The fuck? Let's make a parallel of... Oh, what? Maybe if I do this. What? Oh man, we're gonna have fun with this. We're gonna have fun with this. All right, that works. If I click on that, does it play nice with me? Oh god. Okay. Apparently I can't click on it. But I can do that kind of stuff. Oh god, this is gonna be bad if this is how it's gonna be. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Show text. I say we show text. Status. V. And what is it? V10. Okay, server status V10. So parallel bottom. I'm pretty sure that's all you need. It's been a while since I've done this, so I don't know if we need to do anything else with parallel events. Of course, you can't see what I'm seeing, so give me a second. Ooh. Okay. So if we do this, ignore all the silliness going on. All right, hold on. Hold on. I gotta start up my server. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, let's kill this. The online project, CD server, npm start. Cool, cool. Now we can start the game. And we'll just bring this down here. Start up the game. Cool, cool. New game. Server status 0. Server status 0. Server status 0. And it shouldn't be 0. It should be 1. Why isn't it 1? It's a better question. Project 6 plugins. Cool, cool. Oh, I think I know why. We didn't actually change the plugin. Hold on. Main core. Yeah, that's why. Okay. Apply. Okay. Okie dokie. We'll run it again. Alright. New game. Server status still fucking 0. Set variable. Connected to 1. Oh, wait a minute. I think I know why. Alright. I don't think you can set game variables until the map actually hits. Not positive on that. Something's up with this. Hold on. I can't move it. Shit. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to change this to not trigger parallel. I am going to do action button. And I'll give this person an image. And I'm going to set my starting event here. Because I have a feeling it's because of the way the text box works. And it's just not updating. I just want to be sure on this. Oop, oop, oop. That's not cool. Alright. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought. I'll bite on this for a couple minutes longer, and then I want to move back onto the issues. Align main core server. What am I? Oh, main core. Game variables. Is it game variables or game variable? No, it's game variables. Making sure I didn't mess that up. Did I mess that up? Try that real quick. You never know. I've seen weirder things happen. Restart this. Alright. Son of a bitch. Well, I'd say, oh, let me try to disconnect my internet. That would be a terrible idea. Don't do that. To test what it would be like. I'm pretty sure actually I can go. No, I'm not gonna play around with that. All right, I'll put this off to the side, but I'm close. I'm pretty sure I'm close. So it's just a matter of asking the server status. Maybe ping and pong could do this. Hold on. Reconnect attempt, reconnecting, reconnect error, reconnect failed ping. Fired when a ping packet is written out to the server. Yeah, no, that seems... No, but you can do a lot of cool things with this. Like you could tell connection errors and what the error is and that kind of stuff. You could do a lot with this. Okay, so let's put this on the thing here. So connected, disconnected status. Let's move on from this, but let's definitely put this as a feature request. Because it definitely makes a lot of sense. And it seems pretty straightforward. Okay. Back to the issue board. Net player, show follower, is it possible? Yes. Is it possible to make show the party of the player actor 1 to 4 behind the net player? On your script to make a party follower, this works perfectly for the player, but other net players can't see their followers. Is it possible to make show the party follower on all players? It's perfect. Perfect. For the future of pet system. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I like it. I like the perfect. I like it. Okay. Or other things that follow the player's best greetings. Yes. It is 100% possible. The issue that comes into play is the amount of events that you are now putting on a map. So my concern with this would be long-term having a bunch of followers on a map. So let me explain this. You know, on a map like this, even a big map like this. So let's zoom this out just so you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, even a big map like this. Okay, where you're looking at, you know, the problem that you're gonna run into is that these squares are not. They're even the really big maps don't have a ton of squares on them. So what are you going to do when hold on a second. Can you guys still hear me? It's kind of slowing down on my end. Just making sure. But with that, while I get confirmation on that. The problem when you with something like that is you only have so much space. So if you have 20 players attached on your server in that map at a given time, and you have all their followers, you're gonna have a problem. You know, it's one of those. You know, RPG Maker was not meant for MMO per se. It was not meant to be a pure MMO. Is it doable? Yes. Is it going to put a strain on your server? Yes. Is it the worst strain in the world? Probably not. I'm going to put this in the lower priority list, but I mean, pretty much a follower is just a game event or a game character event. So it has pretty much everything that a game player has, where it's like XY coordinate, character index, character thing, which is pretty much exactly what we're putting over with this, what was it, network players. So yeah, this character name, character index, move speed, move frequency, all that kind of crap. It can all get transferred over exactly the same, and remember, you're going from 2 players to 8, going back and forth, and to everyone else in the room. So you're exponentially increasing the amount of data that's being throughputed by like 4 times, by like exponentially, like 2 to the power of 4. So I mean, it's not an insignificant amount of data that you're putting into the system, if that makes sense. Can it handle it? Absolutely. If you do it right, it can absolutely handle it. The point that I'm trying to make is if you go bigger with it, it can become a problem very quickly. So, is it possible? Yes. Is it something we should do? I mean, for sake of argument, we might want to. I mean, if somebody wants to do this, they can absolutely do it, but, and they can kind of go based off what I did with network players, XY, and that kind of thing. It's pretty much the exact same thing. The only thing I did here was on a game player. Yeah, game player, it's checking your move by input and then giving your XY coordinates. It's shooting your XY coordinates to the server. So it's socket emitting destination XY to the server with all your move speed, move frequency, your name, and your index. And then everyone in the room is receiving it all at the same time. So, I mean, you could do this exactly the same with game follower and do the exact same, actually on move by input, you could probably do the game followers. I don't know exactly how game followers works off the top of my head. Hold on a second. Let's look at this real quick, because this should be pretty quick. Is it game follower? Yeah, because game character is a superclass of game follower and game player. So they all have XY, they all have, you know, move speed, move frequency, all that kind of stuff. You know, all the things that you need to do the network player stuff. They have all this. Okay, so that's good, because we don't need to change this too much. But game follower. So new game followers. So followers are based off the player. This might not be as hard as I thought, because if you're passing over the followers object, so bear with me. So if we pass over the followers object, right? And so if we say, you know, followers, we pass over this dot. That would be very interesting. I think this is possible, just based off what I'm seeing here, unless I'm mistaken. So this follower is equals the game follower, so it's just, and then wait a minute, and then game followers, object, constructor, hold on a second, game character, so initialize, game character, prototype, member index, net transparent, refresh, actor, visible, update. Yeah. Chase character. Interesting. Okay. Game followers. Hold on. When we go back to game player. Yeah. I get it now. So followers is game followers, right? So we could take the entirety of followers, which is, I believe, an array of game follower. So game follower is an individual follower, and I believe what it looks like they're doing is they're so first game follower is following the player, the second game follower is following the first follower, third follower is following the second follower. It's really convoluted, but it's actually pretty smart on how they did it. Which means this chase character, I mean, when you chase a character, if you're also sending an event to the server to chase the character, on their screen, because the way that I work my thing is I'm creating an event on your screen that is then just moving XY coordinates like they're moving on their screen. That's all that's happening. So I mean, this is doable. This is doable. Okay. All right. Put a little bit too much time in this. It's on the list. We'll throw an enhancement on this. All right, and then we'll even put it here, lower priority. So this is things. This is show followers. All right. Yeah, let's get rid of some of these things here. Keep it nice and tidy. All right, issues. What do we got left? Exchange plugin. I think this function is really convenient in online games. I expect it will soon be done. Expecting things to be done. Awesome. Is it possible to trade items currency together? Okay. We need to have a little talk. Oh, how do I want to put this? RPG Maker, the way that it is structured, could never work with this at this level. So what I mean by that, this can work, and I have thought about how to do this. But right now, as RPG Maker stands, here's how it works. So you come in here, you make all your weapons and armor, right? So we come in here, we make our weapons, our armors, our enemies, our items, you know, we make everything. I could easily, in 2 seconds on a browser game, get every single item, every single weapon, every single armor, level up to level 99 in about 2.5 seconds. Okay. What I think is really more interesting, and the reason why for that is because you have to store all the weapons on the system, in the database, or in the data folder is probably the more accurate way to put it. So if I come in here, let's close this out. Project 6, data folder. If I go into something like armors, okay, it's just a bunch of, yeah, it's a JSON object of a bunch of armors. The problem with this is that everyone has a finite number of resources, and there's an infinite amount of times that you can get stuff. Like, we all know that there's, you know, unlimited loot in certain situations, there's unlimited, you know. So the idea of an exchange system with this current system is silly. However, the idea of a global currency and taking like stuff like armors and putting it 100% on the server so that your game doesn't have the armors on it. Everything is done through the database. So when you get an armor, you're not getting it through the game. The game is just telling you what you actually got. The way you actually get it would be 100% on the back end, and we would create equipment for your account on the back end. So that way we wouldn't even deal with the issues of keeping it all on the front end. So keeping it all on the client. So you're not keeping it on the game, you're keeping it 100% on the server in the database. You have a list of all the armors that you want. And, you know, that it becomes a lot more complicated because when you have a treasure chest, you know, the treasure chest is going to look at your database and it's going to say, what can I give this person based off this loot, based off how much loot he's gotten in the past, based off everything like that. Like, you can make it really, really, really complex. Or you can make it really, really simple. It completely depends on you. But I I think a global currency system would make a lot more sense. So gold would not be done in game, technically, like in game. It would be done on the server, and then it would just tell you what you actually got in the game. So I could sit here, I could go on my browser and give myself gold, give myself armor, level up, do everything. But when you actually go into battle, it checks the server and tells you what you actually have. So it could be almost like a security feature built in as well. It'd be kind of cool. I think it would work really, really well. I think there'd be ways around it, and people, you have to know your own game really well, because people can hit those API endpoints of like, you know, I got a chest. They can hit that endpoint really, really hard. But if you know your game and you're like, this one dude looted, you know, 67 chests in 2 seconds, it's like, okay, yeah, no, you're banned. So I mean, there's ways that we can kind of fight that, but I think it's a cool concept, not just for MMOs, but just for anyone's game in general. You can actually create content after the fact. You can create different if you think of an awesome weapon after the fact, you can put it in, and then it automatically comes into your list of, you know, possible drop loots that you get. You know, we can even tie percentages to these drop loots. You know what I mean? Like things like that, you know, based on where you are, what's going on. Like we could easily do this. This is something that might not be the worst idea overall. So that way you almost have like an overall global currency to your game. You know, as you add players, you add more money into the game, and you make it almost like a zero-sum game. The actual trading part of things is a whole separate issue. That is a whole like deep, intricate system. You need UI, you need, you know, a way to verify and authenticate between two users. That is a whole nother level of it's almost a web app within itself, just to do that, because you need a way to see it, you need a way to exploit it, you need a way to make it secure. So you got to say like, this person says yes and this person says yes. It sounds really easy, but there's ways that you have to really make sure it's secure, because people can inject in the middle and they can do all sorts of things. So, you know, I know others have done it out there, and it's definitely doable. I haven't played a lot of MMOs recently, so I don't know how other softwares do it. Like, I'm sure World of Warcraft, Diablo, I'm sure they all do it in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, building it from scratch, making it work. I mean, those dudes have millions of dollars and a lot of developers to do that kind of shit. So let's be real for a second. I think the easier bit to chunk off would be a global currency rather than a trade system. Like a global currency, a global armor, weapon, item repository, if you will, and then you can really make sure people don't cheat. Like an anti-cheating device. That's how I see it, at least. All right. So global currency needs to come first. All right, so I'll put this in a medium priority, because it's not. I think it's something that could help the community quite a bit in a lot of different ways, and it doesn't have to be for one particular setting. It doesn't have to be just for an MMO. I can see a lot of people using this just to add more stuff to the game later on. So here, and we want to make this. I forget what we're doing. Global currency. All right, global currency / items. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. Issues. That was it. All right, have a problem. And who is opening the menu? Let's see if this is still a thing. I'm pretty sure I fixed this, but I might have fixed it in a contest game that I did. So I might actually have to, you know, legitimately fix it. So let's test this out real quick. Oh god, I'm gonna be up half the night with the amount of coffee I'm drinking. All right, let's see. Where are we going here? All right, so let's go to the server. Let's see if I even have this thing up and running. I do not. I have global var. So I don't want global var. What do I want? I want chat. Chat. What the hell do I call this? Socket modules. Chat. Okay. Alright, so instead of that, I'm using NodeMon. At first I was using npm start, which just runs the node server.js. Instead, I am going to run NodeMon, which is a node plugin that allows you to listen for changes and then it automatically restarts your server as you're going. So it's like a live listener to what you're doing. Anyway, NodeMon, and then we're going to do server.js. So as I make changes, it'll restart. If I hit stave, it'll restart the server. That's all that's happening. All right, so make sure online chat is here somewhere. Not there. Online chat is on. Online chat is on. What do I have it set to? I have it set to F1. Okay. Okay. Yes. Let's redo that. I might have to get a second thing going here. Hold on. Just make sure it works. Oh, that is ugly. A sin. Holy crap. And I am not even seeing my stuff. Why am I not seeing my stuff? Oh, baby. Okay. Oh, I know why. All right, hold on. Server configuration, server socket modules. Token.name. Because this is not this anymore. So, okay, so this does work in the normal GitHub, but I've been messing around with this a little bit, so mine's a little bit different than yours. So I just got to fix this really quick because I'm working on version 1.0. And one of the things I changed was actually the authentication middleware. So in here, look, I now can authenticate per socket, which before I wasn't doing. So here I'm doing per socket. So we are doing socket.user equals decoded JavaScript web token. So socket.user has everything, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So socket.user. That should work. We do that. I don't even know if I needed to do that, but I'm doing it for the sake of argument. Still, huh? Okay, let's find out some stuff here. Action. Log. Let's log out socket user. That should give me something. Undefined. Welp, that's not good. Decoded, huh? Wonder if I can pass it. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Nah. To name of undefined. Oh, no. Hold on. User. No. Let's do this and then here. Let's do socket shake. All right. Handshake, host connected, time, address, secure URL, token. The token in here. See token. Fucking handshake token. Alright, we might not be able to do this just because I'm on a newer version of my online system, which is not good. I don't want to take up too much of the stream with me troubleshooting too much. Yeah, because we got the token, we got the host, we got the cookie. Time. Interesting. So it's not coming down this handshake. Hold on. I gotta think about this real quick. Going through the auth socket. Yeah, let's do this. It wouldn't be that, it would be this. No, it wouldn't be IOUs. And put it down here. Let's try that. Alright, let's not do socket.handshake. It went through, but let's do socket.user. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, cool. Alright. I like it when a plan comes together like that. Success. Alright, new authentication method, which is why this is working like this. So, long story short, let's get rid of this. Let's do that. And now, if we reset, and we go to F1, huzzah. Okay, now the better question is, how are we gonna flip and test this? Okay. I'm pretty sure. Un momento, por favor. What are we doing here? I'm gonna find my project 6 project really quick. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the HTML in Safari. Usually it runs well. Nope. Okay. Encountered a bug. Some would call that statistically significant. Ooh. Okie dokie. Apparently, they've updated some stuff. And how's Firefox gonna treat me? Not now. Better, better. And and why aren't you running? Oh. Son of a biscuit. I forget how to use. Hold on. Not set header. What is it? Oh. You know, it's this. No. Where is it? Where are we here? Killing me. I'm pretty sure I can throw this at the top. I remember having to do this a few times. I'm pretty sure we have one that... Not very good for, yeah. Oh, my brain is not working. Alright, let's try this. Blocked. That's not good. Oh my goodness. Goodness me. Alright, no. I know I fixed this before. I know I fixed this before. You want to know how? I know I'm so sure I fixed this before. I'm even gonna look at it. Oh. Oh, come on. That works in game client. There we go. I knew I had it already. And of course, it's something else. What? I call shenanigans. Oh well. Your website to allow.com would not be the answer. It would be this. Whoops. I was wrong. I was so wrong. So wrong. One day we'll make it. See, this is the reason why we need to work on fast iteration, because this takes forever. There we go. Ooh, that was rough. That was very, very rough. And we can't press F1. Why can't we press F1? Why can't I press F1? Alright, we're gonna go the opposite way. I really don't want to do this. Chat. Online chat. And I believe I have a connect socket. Pin chat history. Child map. Send chat map update is menu called. Where the hell is this thing? Toggle chat. Here. If I take this of this, put it into allow pasting. Apparently that's a thing. Allow pasting. Thank you. All right. Now that we got things here, we got things there. Okay. Now back to the original question at hand. Oh my goodness. If I go into the menu and I move around over here, and I go into the menu here and kind of go out and move around and go out, move around, go back in, I'm able to go in and out of the menu just fine. So, not an issue. But apparently there's plenty of other issues that I could do this. Allows players, Demon, how about a plugin that allows players to join the same group and can fight together against monsters? It would be great. You know, you are not the first person to suggest this kind of thing. So I'll come back to PvP at the end of the stream because it is something I have attempted in the past. I'll talk about it in a minute. All right, so that seems pretty good with that. All right, so I'm fairly confident that this issue, this original issue that I was looking at, this should be all set already. Cool. Done. All right, so I think we've been pretty productive. What time is it? 10 o'clock? All right. I think this has been pretty good on the initial issue list. You know, this was something that was scaring me for a while, kind of getting back into it. You know, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's out there. Let's see who's interested. You know, let's get on a consistent schedule. You know, see how I'm going to handle it. See if my equipment can handle all this streaming, which apparently it actually can, which I'm... Whew, there were a few moments today and yesterday where I thought this was not going to work at all. But the fact that you can hear me right now is testament to the fact that, thank God it can. With that said, there are 3 features I don't think I talked about. No, 2 features that I haven't talked about. Okay, and I'm going to put these as wildcards. The first is PvP battling. Okay. PvP. So, here is my thought for PvP. Okay. There are a billion battle systems out there for RPG Maker. And it's very easy to get caught into one or the other and say, you need to build it for this one, and then, no, but you need to build it for this one as well, and this one, and this one, and that one. Listen. If I'm going to do PvP battling, the only thing I am going to build it for is the default battle system. Period. The only way that I will even come close to coming off on that stance is if another developer wants to help that already has their built-in PvP, who knows it back to front. Because the actual transfer of information is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The part that's hard is going into these battle systems that are really complex and doing tons of little tweaks to get it all to work right. I don't know enough about every single battle system out there to do that. You know, even things like Laycode's tactical battle system. I love that thing, man. That is an awesome battle system. However, I would not want to sit here and build this on top of it without Laycode. Like, it's just not going to happen. Same thing with Yanfly. Same thing with anybody. Okay, so, you know, like Vlad, or, you know, whatever system you are thinking of for PvP, it's not going to happen. Going back to default battle system. Default battle system, so I have really heavily thought about this. I attempted to do this a year and a half ago, and I didn't fail, but I didn't have enough time to really put into it. I have a couple really good ideas with it too. PvP is not as difficult as you would expect, but there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of things to clean up. So what I mean by that is, at a really, really high level, you know, if you have let's say you have, let's make it as simple as possible. You have 2 players here, you have 2 players here, okay? Let's talk default battle system. Let's even do side view battle system, right? You would have what I would like to call a host and a slave, okay? The host would be doing all the random numbers, and the slave would be just literally receiving the numbers that they inputted in, okay? So player A, the host, would run all random variables, everything random, and this one would just receive the random variables into like a stack queue. So each one of you would input your attack or your defense or whatever, and then it would all kind of get bundled over into the host. The host would run these and then kind of send it back to the slave. The hard part actually is not sending of information. The sending of information is actually pretty easy. I had a little bit of trouble with setting so when you actually do an attack, right, and let's say you're a slave and you say, I want to do it, or even if you're the host, you say, I want to do an attack. You do an attack and it does 10 damage. You have to then tell the other player that they're going to do an attack and it's going to do exactly 10 damage. So you have to like overwrite what's going on, which was pretty interesting because RPG Maker obviously wants to randomize everything every single time. That wasn't too hard to figure out, but there's a lot of little details like that are like, it's expecting a format and it's a different format, so you have to completely change how the underlying mechanics of it work. And I'm sorry, there's some things in the battle system that are like 3-4 levels deep that just make no sense. That just make no sense why it was put there. So there's a couple things that are, I would say, quirks of the battle systems. But the system can certainly handle it. It's more, you know, when you have, you know, the game's expecting enemies, but you have other actors there, you know, how do you handle attack versus defense because the game expects these values to handle it differently. So you're going to have to treat them differently. You're going to have to, you know, that kind of thing really gets into it. But the cool thing that I thought about this is because you have to make a host and a slave to do this, one of the things that would be really cool is you almost have to make like an event queue. So you say, you know, player A, you know, if it's a one-on-one, right? Player A, player B. You know, player A does X attack for X damage. You know, and then player B does, you know, Z attack with, you know, A damage or whatever the case is. But you could have a nice little queue of everything that happened within the battle. And the cool part about that is you could have almost like battle replays. And you could run the battle replays and you could have people like watching like a Coliseum event or something like that. It could be really cool. And it would be a byproduct of making this event queue, if you will. So it's definitely something that's doable. It's something that is possible. I mean, dare I say? Yeah, so that's PvP battling. Right now, it is not the top of my priority list. This is something that is a goal. Don't get me wrong. I want it to be a goal for the community, but this is one of those where I might need a little bit of help on. And when the time comes, we'll tackle it. But it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable. There's just some challenges that need to be meted out, if you will. The second wild card that I have, audio chat. So I built this a while ago. It is just not ready for general consumption. It's actually using a technology called WebRTC, which is a real-time connection, peer-to-peer connection between different browsers. It works 110% with RPG Maker. In fact, so well, it's scary. It just literally takes over your microphone and just starts using it. So I don't know if I want to just like hand that out to people. I don't know if it works on Android quite as much, but man, does it work on Chrome and Firefox? Not Chrome and Firefox. It works on. It doesn't work on browser. You have to accept it, but like Windows and Mac, it just takes over your microphone. Like your default microphone just takes it over, or not takes it over, but it just uses it. So you got to be careful with it. We would have to build in things like. You know, like some sort of an allow mechanism, because you can't just, or a mute mechanism and that kind of thing, and it's not as easy going through RPG Maker to do those kinds of things. So there's a lot to that particular one. I don't see it as a priority yet. It's just kind of like a cool thing where I was messing around with stuff and I was like, oh yeah, no, I figured out audio chat. So that's a thing. That's a thing that exists. It's a thing that we could do if enough people really, truly, deeply want it. It is possible. And that's pretty much it. You know, the few people who are out there in the stream right now, you get to you get my time right now for a couple seconds. You know, what are your hopes and dreams with this little stream? You know, what do you want to see out of it? You know, I got another few minutes to kind of chit chat, and then I'm gonna get to bed and get to work in the morning. So that's what's going on. Let me just check this real quick while you guys catch up with the stream. Show followers possible. Connected, disconnected. Yeah, these are good notes. I should probably put this somewhere. I'm also thinking about some sort of like whiteboarding app. I want to get to yeah, I want to be able to express my thoughts a little bit more clearly to you rather than just speaking to the camera. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. Let me know if anybody has any other way that they can think of rather than just putting notes like this that make a little bit more sense for a live stream. Seemed kind of clunky, you know. I'd rather do on the air reviews of how I did on the stream. Let's just do it like that. Comments, yeah, let's just do live stream baiting. You know what I mean? Oh, also, I totally forgot. If you want to sit and chat, let me just bring up my Discord really quick. I'll send you over a link to the Discord, and I'll put it on my channel as well for anyone who's watching this later. It's thinking. Oh, it has a streamer mode as well. What am I doing here? Invite people. There we go. All right. So like I said, you know, if you want to chat a little bit more, you can certainly do so on the Discord channel. I don't know when I shut this down if it closes out the chat or not, but feel free to message. Let me know what's going on. I do want to get your feedback on how this went. I want to get your feedback on things I did well, things I didn't do so well. You know, anything is helpful at this point. This is my first stream. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I have no idea how it looked. I have no idea how it sounded. you know, I did the best I could. So let me know. Let me know what you hope to see out of this project. Always willing to listen. You know, I know I can be harsh sometimes with some of these things and like the issues and stuff, but it's the reality of, you know, some of these things take, you know, a ridiculous amount of time where it's just not feasible to do. But I still look at it. I still give it a fair shake. It's just, you know, sometimes you got to be, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, MMO style multiplayer experience people can turn to. Imagine Pokemon / Skyrim. Yeah. I mean, Pokemon, like Gen 1 Pokemon is what I'm thinking of, where, you know, you can go to like a coliseum of some sort, where it's like, you know, you connect with a friend, you put in their you know, they go to a computer, put in a player code, you put in a player code, and you battle each other. And then maybe afterwards you get some sort of, you know, replay ID, and you can show other people the replay ID or something to that effect. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, yeah. You could certainly do that. It's definitely possible. It's definitely, yeah. All of it's possible. All of it's certainly possible. Okay, I'm going to cut the live stream off because it's getting to the point where we're kind of not doing much. But once again, if you want to continue the conversation, we can certainly do so on Discord. All right, with that, later.